Jan Broberg and Robert Berchtold had an unnatural relationship.
I loved him as deeply as I've ever loved anyone.
Jan Broberg was just a kid from a small town when she was kidnapped by her much older neighbor, Robert Berchtold. Several weeks later, Robert was found hiding in Mexico with Jan. She returned home, but her family didn't press charges, and somehow Robert was able to kidnap Jan a second time.
Jan went with me voluntarily.
The mission was that I was to have a child that would save the alien planet by the time I turned 16.
And another shocking revelation in the documentary, Robert had an affair with Jan's mom and her dad.
Mr. Berchtold had such an effervescent, wonderful personality.
He was so engaged with the kids, too. I mean, he really was fun. And
Jan was eventually rescued by the FBI, but Robert was never charged with kidnapping or sexually abusing Jan. Years later, Robert took his own life.
There'll never be anybody for me but Jan. Never.
So many people fascinated with this documentary. They had so many questions, myself included. Here to answer them, director Skye Borgman and podcast host Patrick Hinds. Their new podcast, Obsessed with Abducted in Plain Sight, is premiering today. You guys, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat like everyone else with this one. It just got more bizarre as the story unfolded. I just want to start off, Skye. It's been a year since the doc debuted on Netflix. What was the most surprising part about the story that shocked people?
I think really what people were talking about mainly when the documentary came out was how something like this could happen, and really the attention was focused on the parents and how the parents could allow this to happen. So in the podcast, we dive a little bit deeper in that, and we ask Jan some pretty tough questions about her parents, and we I don't know if we're ever going to be satisfied with the answers, but we definitely dive deeper.
I mean, and speaking of the parents, just to get a little more specific, there was one moment, one revelation that was not one, but that's a good point. There was another one, but there were a couple of revelations that were quite shocking. Can you go into a little detail about the parents and sort of how they got involved in this?
Yeah, definitely. Scandal. I mean, Berchtold was absolutely a master manipulator, and he entered their lives and found those little points to kind of trigger, and he triggered them, and the parents pretty much fell for it.
Yeah. Okay, and Patrick, you reveal new details about the case in the podcast. What can you share with us?
You know, there's a whole subplot left out of the film where Berchtold, the kidnapper, goes to Mexico, tries to adopt a little girl to bring home with him. He almost gets away with it. We asked Jan straight up if she thinks her dad is gay. There's a whole story where Marianne, her mother, brings a gun to a meeting with Berchtold that was left out of the movie. That's gonna knock the socks off of people. It's just another crazy story about the parents. And we really get a lot of Jan about, you know, how she's now, how this documentary coming out has affected her.
Yeah. Patrick, you mentioned the fact that you asked Jan just straight up, is your father gay? That goes directly to that point that I was talking about, where so many people were fascinated to realize that he'd had affairs with the mother and the father, which was revealed in the documentary. I'll be curious to know what she says about that. Skye, Jan participating in this documentary and the podcast, do you feel like after having talked with her, she's been able to move on with her life?
Definitely. I mean, Jan is an incredible woman. She's strong and she's brave and she's beautiful. And her hope with this story, her parents' hope with this story was to get the message out there, and that's why they did this.
All right, well, Skye, Patrick, thank you both so much. Their new podcast, Obsessed with Abducted in Plain Sight, is available now.